Hey my loves, Melanated Magic here with another banger for you, your favorite spiritual thug. Today I want to talk about how they cannot take your life unless the Most High allows it for a purpose, because of course no man knows the number of his days. However, the chosen ones choose to give their life according to the Most High's approval. We try to manipulate certain things within our capacity because we're still physical beings, right? Because we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, and so the Most High is the one who is the judge and takes the final decision. Other than that, the chosen ones are the ones who choose to answer the call, who understand that it's not an easy call to answer, but that they trust the Most High so much that they're willing to endure the suffering, they're willing to endure the ridicule, they're willing to endure the rejection, they're willing to endure all the things that people have to endure in this world, only at a higher level, because usually chosen ones are also empaths. It's hard to be spiritual and not be an empath. I have yet to meet people who are spiritual and who are not empaths. And because we care for people at a deeper level. Whether we show it on the outside in a physical, you don't know what's in a person's heart. Whereas the Most High Divine does. The Most High Divine gives each one their assignment and the talents to go with the assignment, because they need those gifts in order to work in the calling that they were assigned. Right? So like me, I'm not a singer. But I know other people that as soon as they sing, like, things shift in the atmosphere, because music is very powerful. Sound frequencies are very powerful, especially if you listen to things at a 432 hertz. Because right now, one thing with the music that they did is that they realized that music used to get played with a certain frequency, but they changed the frequency of the music that is made now in order to lower the vibrations of the people, cause more anxiety, and all kinds of so-called conditions that they love to label people with. But it's them who's doing it through the music, through movies. I mean, they're constantly throwing subliminals at you, and it's hard to catch these things because it's a part of our everyday lives. I, for one, I should have been dead a long time ago, because I've had one foot in the grave a lot of times in my life, down to being involved with being in the middle of gunshots being fired, and everybody's running, and I'm walking because I'm like, it's my time, whether I run, whether I walk. So they're like, hide, and I'm like, yeah, it didn't touch me, because it wasn't meant for it to touch me. If it was, then I would have gotten shot. And that's been a few times that I've been in those situations where I'm divinely protected, and that I know this, so I don't walk in that fear like everybody else does. And we all get scared and afraid to a certain extent. However, you have, like, what I fear, I do my best to face it as afraid as I feel, because once you conquer that fear, you realize, oh, there was nothing really to be so afraid of. What I was really afraid of is failing at whatever it is that you put your faith in, right? Like, a lot of people establish a business and they're in so much fear because they, for one, might not know how to operate a business, and all the things that, and all the small things that they don't tell you about that comes with a business that you have to learn from the School of Hard Knocks. And it's that way in life. You desire to go to college, you're going to have challenges with taking tough exams, having to turn in syllabuses, and all types of things that you have to go through in order to be able to earn your degree, right? It's the same in the spiritual realm. You can't go to the next level until you've learned how to pass these so-called devils. You have to pass the test, because the Most High does not want to destroy you through the process, and by giving you what you desire now, it may not work out for you in the long run. And the problem with a society is that they've gotten us so trained for everything to be according to a clock. Like I tell you, I opened up at a certain time, and if I'm not there like on the dot, people are already there crowding, catching attitude. I'm like 5 minutes late and they're falling apart because of the programming. So I have to kind of work with the clients to tell them, hey, it's going to be okay. You know, the world's still out there waiting for you. We're doing the best we can, but it's that clock. I have to do this. Yeah, time is important in this realm, and we have to honor it in as much as possible. But at the same time, you can't just expect for everything to always go your way exactly on time all the time. That's so fucking unrealistic and unfair to others around you, which shows that there's something wrong there, right? Because peace flows all the way around. And that's why there's always those low vibrational people that come, because misery loves company, and it comes to distort your peace and your joy. Like I tell you, sometimes I have one client that'll come and start talking trash to the rest of the clients, and they offset the energy because they're there to stir trouble, to stir up the pot, and they know exactly what they're doing because that's what they're about. So you'd have those troublemakers who just love causing trouble because they're all about creating drama when there's not even a need, because we fall apart at any little thing. I noticed that nowadays people are not so receptive to facing challenges and being up for a challenge, which brings me to the fear thing again. When we had the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, the Nelson Mandelas, the Panthers, I mean, we've had so many great people do their best and to risk it all, including their lives, for the sake of freedom. And it's usually not just for that person's freedom, but it's for those that are involved, even the ones that are not chosen, because we're not like, well, we're not going to bless you because you're not chosen. We know you're an asshole. We know you're batting for that dark side, and we don't hate you. We just hate what you stand for, because chosen people don't have time to hate people on a personal level. You could strongly dislike what they represent, what they're about, the things that they do, because they're low vibration. They're in a low vibrational state. But a lot of times people are in a low vibrational state not even realizing that they're the low vibration. And a lot of times I've been the low vibrational when I've had to catch myself. The difference with me is that I actually do put it in my pipe to smoke it an hour later, and I meditate on these things to see if there's any truth to it, because that's helping me evolve, rather than getting my ego and my pride and be like, no, I know it all, it's my way, because a lot of people think that I'm that way. And no, I don't know it all, and it doesn't always have to be my way. And if it makes sense, I'm going to meditate on it. But if it doesn't, and what I believe makes sense to me, then ultimately I have to choose what I believe is the best for myself and those around me that are involved, right? However, now people have become very afraid because they're afraid of getting killed, of being targeted, of being, excluded. And there's a lot of people out there who still stand up for what's right, but they don't have enough people backing them up. It's not like people getting together to fight, for our rights, because we're taxpayers in this country. We pay taxes, we contribute, and we vote. Many people don't vote, but there's many people who do vote. And you have a voice. But what happens is, as soon as these politicians decree their whatever, we automatically fall in line with what they say without putting up a fight, without writing a letter to Congress, writing a letter to the fucking president, or whatever the hell, or your Secretary of State in your local state, whatever the changes are. Because I tell people, we complain about what's wrong in the society, but if you don't do shit about it to make it better, you're part of the problem, and you really should shut the fuck up and not complain, because what are you complaining for? And complaining to people who can't do shit about it, unless you talking to people and they're getting your message and being inspired by it, and they desire to become a part of that movement. But most people desire to be chiefs. Nobody likes to be led. And even if it's in the good, because it's okay to be led. I'm led too, but I choose who I'm gonna allow to lead me, because there's times when I'm the chief and there's times when I'm not the chief, and that's okay. It's a time and a place for everything, right? But people are so angry at the society because the world is so fucked up and convoluted because of all these idiots in our political system that's making decisions. Honestly, I would not desire their jobs, because somebody's always going to hate them for their choices they make. But if we really stop and look how fucked up things are, something is wrong. I could get that we don't have to agree on everything that is passed in this man's law, but you don't have to take it laying down either. And you can fight for what you can fight, but people don't like to unite anymore. They really do not. It's because they're afraid to die. They're afraid. They see what has happened to the great ones, and usually they die at a young age. Like Bob Marley died in his early 30s, right? This one you call Jesus, whom I address as Yahusha, died at a young age as well. But why? Because it was the Most High's ultimate decision, and perhaps it was their time to part because they already finished their assignment. So you must never be afraid as a chosen one to stand up for what's right, even if you have to do it alone, because most of the times we have to work alone, and it's very few to no people, very little to no people that will actually support you and see your vision and what it is you're trying to do to change the society to a better place. And so people think that I'm an asshole, that I'm a bitch, that I'm mean, that I'm rude. Excuse me. That's what they see on their low vibrational scale, because they're only looking at the negative. They don't stop to see the whole big picture, right? To judge righteously. They're just judging by their feelings, how they're feeling at that moment, and they cast their judgments, but they don't really know the whole story. And some people might know the story and still fucking cast negative judgments, because some people don't have no understanding, no love, no empathy, because this world will destroy you if you let it, and harden your heart to the point where we become such bitter, miserable people. And we all go through those phases. If you're a chosen one, you've gone through phases where you just hate people, you don't like being around people, or one moment you're kind, then you're just like snapping, and so now they're calling you labels and stuff. But it's because you know what's wrong with the fucking world, so they want to label you as crazy because they don't desire to change, and they love the chaos they cause because that's what their job is, right? Your job is to be righteous. That's what chosen people do. If not, then you're not chosen, right? And we fuck up. The difference is that we know when we fuck up, and we don't purposely set out to go out of our way to fuck people over. But when we put our lives on the line and risk it all, we're doing it because we know we're doing the right thing. And so you mustn't be afraid, because it's you who chooses to give your life, because you have that close and intimate relationship with divine, and you don't fear death, because death is just another phase to another life, a better life. But a lot of people don't know that, and a lot of people are afraid of this place called hell that was invented to keep people living in fear, so they can manipulate them to live out that Bible and whatever rules that this world has set. And a lot of it has been set around that book, that very deceptive book. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to stand up for what's right. Don't be afraid to lose your life because, and I'm not saying go kill yourself and go purposely put yourself in a position where we have to use wise, holy judgment in the decisions we make, and take calculated risks that is going to bring a positive change for others who desire it. Because a lot of people, they like everybody thinking for them and making these decrees and everything, so they could just bitch and complain, keep living their regular life, and don't ever try to grow and evolve into greater, because everybody has that potential. That's why it says many are called but chosen a few, because a lot of people are afraid to answer that call. Because when you answer that call, and if you were chosen, you're going to answer the call eventually, or you're going to lose your life, and not in a good way, because you're going to have to come back and do it all over again, and probably at a worse capacity, because you didn't honor your life in this lifetime, right? And again, you don't have to believe the things I say, because these are the things that I observe within my society, within my studies, my observations, my researches, and just putting the pieces together. So I do my best to stay educated, but again, I don't know it all. This is just my channel where I decided to share my points of views, and it may resonate with some, it may not. So I'm not here to insult or offend. Hopefully if you're chosen, we don't get offended easily like that, because we get that there's so much more to the story than just what's being told. And then there's always their story, and the truth, right? His story, her story, and the truth, as they say. because you got to hear both sides of the story to put the pieces together. But some people just hear one side of the story and automatically make their judgments by what another asshole told them, and they were stupid enough to believe it, because probably what they were already thinking negative anyway about that situation. So they just needed somebody to confirm it so they could back off and feel good about it, because somebody else is, you know, backing them up. So the chosen ones are not afraid to stand up for themselves. They're not afraid to do what's right, even if they have to stand alone. So don't be afraid. Nobody could take your life unless the Most High. I don't care if you're in the middle of a gangbang fight, somebody about to kill and stab you. I mean, I've heard so many stories about people being in very ugly situations, but the mercy and the protection of the divine kingdom stepped in and said, you can't take them. It's not their time. And they're still on assignment. So don't worry about what the whole world thinks about you. Like I tell people, people label me in all kinds of ways, but like I tell them, it's their opinion, and that's their business. It's what I choose to answer to, and what I choose to speak over myself. Because people will call me selfish and mean, and I'm like, return to sender ninefold. I do not receive that in my spirit. I know it's not true. You can say whatever the hell you want, but you're not going to sit here making me feel like I'm less than because you're speaking magic spells without knowing that you're cursing me and speaking witchcraft over me. But because I know, I'm gonna nip that shit in the bud and not be like, you're right, I ain't this and that. No, you have to talk life into yourself. And I know it's not easy sometimes, because sometimes, boy, it gets so depressing, you just want to lay in bed and forget the whole world and hope that you wake up somewhere else, because this world will test you deeply. But you have to remain strong, and that's why I share my stories, to let you know we all go through shit. I go through shit on a daily, but I still stay strong. I still walk in love, but I also stand firm as the spiritual thug that I am, and stand my grounds and establish my boundaries, because respect is very important, and you desire to receive what you give. So what you give, all that gossiping, all that judging and pointing fingers, seeing what information you could gather for the day so you could go gossip about it, rather than to go educating your mind for real, right? But each man has to work out their own salvation. So I hope that this banger hit you to where you want to go and meditate on what I said and put it in your pipe to smoke it an hour later. I love you. Thank you to everybody who's been subscribing. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you can catch my videos as I go posting them. I love y'all so much. I'm out. Peace.